guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video has been requested a lot ever since I have announced the fact that we got a positive pregnancy test last Friday. I've had so many people get in touch with me and just ask if I've got any tips, if I've got any advice. The thing is, when you're so desperate for something to work, you just want to know, is there anything else you can try? So I think it's really important there at the beginning just to put a bit of a disclaimer in. Obviously I'm not a doctor, you've got to go with what your clinic tells you. So whatever they tell you, follow that advice. Anything that I might be able to add that could potentially help you, then brilliant. But if it goes against anything that you've been advised to do, please don't do it, okay? So my top tips then, right guys. Now the first thing that I did that was different was I actually met with the embryologist before I had the transfer, and I've never done that before. So we had a chat and I learned a little bit more about the grade of the embryos, and I made the decision which ones I wanted to defrost and transfer. I've never done that before. I also made the decision to put 2 in rather than 1, and I've never done that before. So potentially watching this video, I could be either pregnant with 1 or pregnant with 2. So yeah, I got a bit hot thinking about that. So that is something else that I did different. Whether that increased the chances or not, I don't know. I feel that it did, and for me it was my 3rd attempt, and I just thought I need to throw everything at it and I need to do something different. I didn't do the scratch this time, and I did the 2nd time, and I couldn't do acupuncture because it was too short notice. I still think acupuncture is great. I think it can help, it is a medicine, and it can help people relax, but luckily for me, I didn't need it for this one to be successful. So I put the 2 in. I met with the embryologist. I've got a list down here, so just excuse me if I keep looking down because I don't want to get anything wrong. I also had different medication this time. So although I haven't been tested for natural killer cells, I asked if I could still have the drugs that they use to treat it. So I didn't want to be delayed on having my transfer, and the test can delay it, and it's also really expensive. So I said, is it okay for your body just to have the drugs anyway? And they were like, well yeah. I said, well, can I just have them then? So that's what I did. So I have the injections. So the injection is the blood thinner, and I've talked about these before. So every night I was injecting one of those in alternate sides of my stomach. Then I also have been taking steroids. So the steroids come in tablet form, prednisolone, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I also take them every single evening as well. Then on top of the steroids, I still have the cyclogest, which is the pessaries, and you take them 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. So those 2 drugs, the first one, the steroid and the blood thinner, I hadn't used those before. So potentially they could have helped as well. You don't know what's helped. To be honest, sometimes I think it's just luck. I think it's just a lottery. So what else did I do? Because I was going to be on my own, my husband was actually out the country in America working. So I sprayed his aftershave before I went for my transfer to remind me of him. Now some people say that you shouldn't have fragrance on you when you go for a transfer because the embryos don't like it, but for me, smelling him just gave me loads of comfort. So that's just something that I did. I think possibly being on my own for a week at home could have potentially been a good thing, because I literally just did nothing. So the last 2 goes, my first go and my second go, I rested for the day of transfer and the day after transfer, but then I did go out walking a little bit, I worked, I did my Slimming World group both times. This time I did nothing. I stayed in the house, and what I did was before I went into hospital, I made loads of food ready. So I prepped loads of food so I didn't have to stand up and cook because I knew I was going to be on my own. And I also got some ready meals. Now, I don't mind ready meals. The Slimming World ones are good, Marks and Spencer ones are good, but it's not something I would normally choose to have. But it was brilliant because it just meant I didn't have to stand up and I didn't have to worry about cooking. So that could be a possible other top tip. Another thing I did was I listened a little bit more to kind of like the old wives' tales this time, and who knows, they might have helped. So even if it's psychological, even if it's just like, you know, you thinking that it's helped, then it's not going to do you any harm. So I had a quarter of a pineapple every single day, including the core, and I always ate that first thing in the morning before I ate anything else. I just read that that was the way to do it. I also had 3 Brazil nuts every single morning, so I've talked about the benefits of those before. I had no added sugar pomegranate juice. The Sainsbury's one is the best one. There was another one which was vile, so I had that every day. Just a small glass every single day of pomegranate juice, which again is thought in IVF to help implantation. I also carried on with that after the transfer. So I did it before the transfer and I carried on with it after the transfer until I got my positive pregnancy test. I also took my vitamins. The main ones I took was my folic acid, my CQ10, that one has got vitamin B in with it, and I also had an iron tablet, which I think had vitamin D in it. So if you watch another video of mine, that's where I talk about all the different vitamins that are recommended. So I did that every single morning. Also, one of my good friends, Hayley, bought me a rose like crystal quartz bracelet, and they're meant to have benefits within fertility. It was just a really, really cute idea, such a lovely, lovely present, and I massively appreciated it, and I wore that. So who knows? You can get them from Wild Soul Crystals online if you wanted to get one. Then I kept my feet warm. Now this is a Chinese medicine theory, and it's talked about a lot in IVF. I didn't really do it before, but I wore some really thick white fluffy socks, and I kept them on at all times. Might have helped, who knows. I also ate a lot of blueberries and avocado. So avocado is Sin's on Slimming World, but it's healthy Sin, so I was fine with that. And blueberries are talked about quite a lot now in IVF. So yeah, I ate them, and it, you know, like I said, it's not going to hurt you. It's healthy fats, and blueberries have got loads of properties as well. So get yourself some blueberries and avocado. The other thing I did was I massively concentrated on having a positive mental attitude. So it's very, very easy when you're going through IVF and when you're having a 2-week wait to doubt every single little turn, every single little symptom. You start to convince yourself it hasn't worked, and that's one of the worst things you can do. I totally get why you do it. I did it probably, I think I did it in my second go quite badly. I thought, no, that's it, it's not worked. So you've got to try and stay really positive. Now, to help you with that, if you've ever heard of the book The Secret and not read it, you need to read it. So read the book The Secret, or what I also did during the 2-week wait was I watched the film. The film is on Netflix. So this will teach you how to visualize something working. But I was like actually saying out loud, you know, I really want to have a baby, and I've never done that before. So I made it very clear what I wanted the outcome to be. I also visualized it happening, but more importantly than that, you've got to feel it. So let yourself feel the emotions as if it's worked, as if you've got that positive, and it's meant to put it out into the universe. And again, law of attraction, who knows if it works? I do like to believe in it, and I think there's nothing wrong with having a positive mental attitude. If you stay happy, healthy, and relaxed as opposed to stressed, that can only be a good thing. So read The Secret or have a watch of the film. So I'll pop some links down below. Also, I read that it was really, really important to watch funny things after the transfer. So I think there's a few different reasons why. One of them is that it's meant to relax you, but also by laughing, it's meant to contract. It's meant to contract your body and help with implantation. Again, who knows if this is true, but I hadn't done that before, and I asked on my Instagram and I got so many amazing ideas of funny things to watch. So I watched Girls Trip, which was really, really funny, and then my favourite was Jack Whitehall and his dad going travelling. That absolutely had me in hysterics, and when you're going through something that's quite tough, it's actually really nice to laugh. So definitely recommend doing that. You might have heard about McDonald's French fries after a transfer. I couldn't I couldn't do it. It didn't sit right with me. Apparently it's about the salt, and lots of people do it and they swear by it. But I just thought, well, how is all that like fat good for you? Like that greasy, horrible fat, not healthy fat. So I decided to do my own. So I made some sin-free chips and I just covered them in salt. Who knows again if that helped or not. Then the next thing I did, I had a facial during the 2-week wait. So I gave it about 5 days and then I went for a facial. Not a massage, because I don't think that's appropriate during the 2-week wait. But I checked about a facial and I just felt so relaxed, and it was just lovely to get out the house. So that was something else that I did. I also saw lots of my friends and family. I'm a nightmare when I'm working and I've got my social media, I've got my job, I've got, you know, my life. I like to eat, so very much my world revolves around Slimming World, and it revolves around social media, and it revolves around just like me and Chris and work, and you know, and just day-to-day things. The gym, I'm like massively into the gym, so a lot of my time gets spent there. So I don't really get to see loads of my family and friends, but I had quite a few people come around and visit me. I met up with people, I went for lunch with people, and it's just so nice. You're chatting, it's taking your mind off it. It's just, yeah, I definitely recommend doing that. Don't hide away, don't just be on your own. Try and see people, because it'll give you that feel-good feeling. Then every single night before I went to bed, I would fall asleep listening to a Zeta West download. So on my iPad, I've got it under downloads, and I got it off iTunes, and basically it's just called Zeta West's relaxation during the 2-week wait. So there's a couple of ones. There's one before transfer, there's one after transfer, and then there's one during the 2-week wait. And it's just her speaking to you. And again, it's very much about visualization and imagining your embryos implanting and all that type of thing. Even if you're not into it, it might just help you get to sleep, and it might help you relax. So you might want to try that. I didn't have any baths at all. I read that you really shouldn't have like hot baths. So I didn't do that, which is a bit of a killer for me, because I absolutely love to have hot baths. So I didn't do that. I just had a couple of really quick showers, because I didn't want to stand for too long. You just get paranoid about little things like that. So yeah, no baths. I kept myself busy, so although I wasn't at work, as in I didn't do my group 1 week, I got it covered, which, you know, I've done my group after I've broken my leg and it is in plaster, and I've had no sleep and it's snowing and I'm on crutches. I still did my group. So it killed me not to do it, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I had to just be sensible and not go. But I did other work from home, so I just was on my laptop and I filmed a few videos, and editing takes time, and it just kept my mind occupied. So try and find something to keep you occupied, whether it's a puzzle or crosswords, or it's TV to watch, or you like making videos, or you want to start writing a blog, whatever. Try and find something just to keep your mind off it all, and to keep you off Google. And then I think that is pretty much it. I definitely think talking about it helps as well, because I've got my social media outlet and I've talked about it. I think one of the big things for me as well was the amount of positive wishes that I got. The amount of people that were rooting for us was unbelievable. So just take that support from wherever you can, because when I was sat in that hospital bed going into my transfer, I was just reading all these messages, and it put me in a really good headspace. And just having all that positive energy coming at you can only be a good thing. So if you're not talking about it and you're keeping it all in internally, maybe it would be a good thing to talk about it. So again, I'm not a doctor, they're just the things that I did different this time. So if any of those things can help you, if they just reassure you, if you just want to give them a go, they're not going to hurt you. In terms of the medication, you would have to speak to your doctor about that. In terms of putting 1 in or 2 in, that's a massive decision. So don't do any of these things lightly, but I really hope that that's helped you. And yeah, it's not sunk in for me yet. When I saw the positive pregnancy test on Friday, I was elated. I was absolutely over the moon. I didn't stop crying. And then a few days later, I'm like, oh, but I don't know if I'm getting many symptoms now, or oh, I don't know if it's still there. And I'm struggling a little bit to let myself enjoy it, because I can't get my head around the fact that I'm pregnant. So I'm just desperate now to get my first scan. So when you have IVF, you have your scans early, and mine is going to be sort of around the end of February, so like around sort of 6-7 weeks. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And then just every scan after that. So I'm dead excited, but I'm also really, really nervous. So I just need to keep practicing what I preach and keep visualizing that positive outcome. In terms of symptoms, a lot of people have asked me if I felt any symptoms. The first few days, I got a little bit of nausea in the morning, but it passed. And I got a slight pain in one of my boobs, which I don't normally get, so that could potentially be related. I felt a little bit lightheaded a few times, and yeah, there was a few other like bits and bobs, but it was nothing major. The biggest thing I felt was the like pain in my stomach, and you can think that that's going to be your star week or your period. I hate that word. So you could think that, but actually it's probably implantation. So the thing with symptoms, guys, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Don't think, oh my God, but she's been sick, or oh my God, she's had this symptom and I've not had that. Don't send yourself mental, like Googling and going on these forums and chatting to everyone. Just trust the timing and trust the process and try and keep really, really positive. It's hard, it's really, really hard, and I get it, I do get it, but don't worry too much about other people's symptoms. Just wait for that test. I tested one day early, and the only reason I did that was because I was going to work and I needed to know if I could lift or not. So wait, don't test early, because if you test early you might get a negative and it might be a positive. It's just too early. So please, please, please be patient, trust everything, and don't test early if you can. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really, really hope that it's helped you, and please, please God, if you are watching this, and I'm not even religious really, but if you are watching this and you are in your 2-week wait, I really, really hope you finally get your dream like I have. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.